Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Already, we're live. And as you guys get by talent, thumbnail, today I'm going to be going over more game AI enemy logic in Unreal Engine 5 using C++. That's last time I went to the summoning logic where every time I click C in my keyboard, I go ahead and summon Lisa, which is technically my character that I actually want to display on my window. But I did not actually give Lisa any kind of characteristics. Today I'm going to make my character that I summon actually follow Tom, my player. Let's go to my gameplay screen. There we go. Let me get at the center of my screen. Alright guys, there we go. Okay, am I really in the center of my screen? Alright, perfect guys. I changed kind of my setup, so now my webcam is kind of covering my screen, so I might whatchamacallit it. I was gonna say that I might not be able to read the chats clear, but I think it's pretty clear. Okay, that said, I did have time to get a new chat today because I did not technically have callers today. So let's say something like "Sensei, I'm live!" exclamation. And I am actually using Claude today. I did use Claude yesterday and the day before that as well because I feel like Claude is actually so much better in giving reliable code compared to Gemini and ChatGPT. Gemini is good in terms of the picturing. I can send 100 screenshots a day if that makes any sense. That said, I appreciate your enthusiasm. Okay, but I need to be straightforward with you. I can't take that specific persona. Guys, I think Claude does not like to talk like Sensei. That's fine. Okay, quick diagnostic questions. When you summon Lisa, do you see any debug message on the screen with text showing her state and distance? Have you added a nav mesh bounds volume to your level? This is critical. Without it, your AI can't pathfind. Press P in the viewport to visualize it. Okay, let me say something Sensei, so in my program, I see Lisa when I click C. I see a add on screen debug message that says Lisa has spawned, and when I get close to Lisa, it says that Lisa is chasing me. If I get close enough, it changes the state from chase to attack, and if I go further back, which means more than 1,000 units away from Lisa, okay, it says state changed to idle. Okay. Although Lisa does not move, maybe because I did not add a nav mesh. Okay, there we go. Now let's see. So I gotta go ahead and add my nav mesh probably. Okay, diagnosing missing nav mesh as movement culprit. Okay, bingo, you nailed the diagnostics. Your code is working perfectly. The state machine is functioning exactly as it should. The debug message proved it. Lisa detects distance changes. She transitions. State transitions are firing correctly. The logic flow is solid. The only reason Lisa isn't physically moving because you're missing the nav mesh bound volume. The AI controller is calling move to actor, but it has nowhere to pathfind. Here's how to fix it. 3 steps. Step 1. Add the nav mesh volume in Unreal's editor. Go to the Place Actors panel. Search for nav mesh volume. Drag it to your level. Scale it. Okay, that shouldn't be that hard to be honest. And let me actually show you guys the program that I worked on yesterday, which is technically summoning my object type stuff. But I did not add any functionalities. I'm going to do that today. So let me open my Unreal Engine first. Okay, and I just realized, let me get my mic in the other side because this side I usually keep my arms. What up guys, there we go. Okay, let's wait for the Unreal Engine to open. I think it doesn't take that long to open. There we go. Okay, let's kind of extend it from the bottom. There. Okay, now in my Unreal Engine, if I were to go to something like contents and let's say double click my map, I have my project here. If I run the code, I can go ahead and turn my window. If I click C, it says Lisa has spawned, state changed to chasing. If I go further away, it constantly says Lisa is chasing me because my units are getting in front. Lisa isn't practically chasing me. If I get close enough, okay, if I get close enough, alright guys, let's add a bunch of Lisas, there we go. It should, okay, maybe I can, because of my mesh state, I can't really get close enough, I gotta fix that part. but it's gonna change chasing to attack if I get really, really close. Whoa. Okay, I mean, although let's go a bit further. Okay, if I go farther, it says Lisa's state changed to idle from chase. Although let's work on adding the nav mesh now. So I'm gonna go to something like actor. Okay, maybe in Windows I can find a place actors is place here. There we go. Okay, I want to go ahead and place an actor. I'm assuming it's like right here. And then can I find a nav mesh? If I were to go to actor, can I find a nav mesh? Let's go with something like a nav mesh. Okay, nav mesh. There we go. Let's add the nav mesh bounces volume. Let's go ahead and exit this. Okay, and then kind of just shrink it because my window is already kind of small because I stream vertically, so I cannot like completely extend this thing. I do stream horizontally as well if you guys want to go check that out. Let's go with R and kind of just increases. This is basically the boundary which tells Lisa can only move in the range of this boundary, if that makes any sense. I think I made it too big. Alright up guys, let's kind of shrink the size. There. I think that should be good. Increase some from there, increase some from here. There, I wouldn't say it's bad. Let's get that a bit there. Okay, this is a pretty good place. I highly doubt we're actually going to use the entire arena. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and Control Alt F11 to compile the code real quick. Let me get my live coding here. There we go. Okay, so results succeeded. Let's go ahead and exit this now. And now, if I were to go ahead and run the code and hit something like C, Lisa is actually going to follow me wherever I move. If Lisa gets close enough. The reason it doesn't like change from chasing to attack is because we still have a lot of distance between us. Gotta kind of fix that up. There we go. Now it says attack. So once we're like this close, it says state has changed to attack. And if I keep running, okay, I feel like Lisa is chasing at a constant. Guys, this looks kind of creepy to be honest. Well, it changed to something like idle. Then I can just exit the program. So that's basically how we actually get our object to move type stuff. Although I do want to add a sprint action, so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so for my Tom's header file, like I want my Tom to be able to sprint as well while having stamina, so he can kind of dodge my enemy. That's what I kept my program's name. And then once I really get that done, I'm going to be working on actually studying and like getting some practice with writing the code and being like a bit familiar with like the syntaxes here. So what should I start with? To add sprint, I'm assuming I could go ahead and let's see. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and add a new action. So above my summon action and under my RMB action, I'm going to go with something like sprint action. For my sprint action, I'm going to be having a U property. Let's go with something like a U property. Where I want my U property, which is going to be my sprint action, I want to be able to edit it anywhere. And guys, ignore the red underlines. My Unreal editor is just kind of tweaking. Okay, so I go with the U property where I want to be able to edit it anywhere. I want my sprint action to be blueprint read only. I only want my blueprint to be able to read it, not really edit it. Lastly, my category is going to be equal to input because I want to go ahead and click Q. While I'm clicking Q, I want to sprint while my stamina actually decreases, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I added a sprint action. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a pointer which is going to be representing my U input action. My pointer is going to be called something like sprint action. Okay, and then I go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and let's say create a few Boolean checks. The first Boolean check is going to be for B is Q pressed, which is initially going to be set to false, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to create two functions. The first function is going to be for something like Q pressed. Alright guys, there we go. Q pressed with a prof parentheses ending with a semicolon. And the other white function is going to be Q underscore released with a prof parentheses ending with a semicolon. Okay, once I'm done with all that, I don't know, maybe I'm going to go ahead and add a function here. It's going to be a white function called something like sprint with a prof parentheses ending with a semicolon there. I think this is pretty good. I think this is pretty good. Okay, once I'm done with all this, is there something else that I want to add? Any other U properties that I might want to add? Maybe I want to go ahead and add a stamina logic where I create a max stamina and current stamina. So to do that, maybe under my sprint action, I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment that says something like max stamina, STAMINA. My max stamina is going to be requiring U property again as well. Where I want my max stamina to be edit anywhere. I want to be able to edit my max stamina anywhere. Okay, I want my max stamina to be blueprint read only. There we go. What up, guys? There we go. Okay, and lastly, I want my max staminas category that I absolutely spelled it wrong to be equal to something like player stats. I don't know, it could be named anything. Let's go with something like stats. Okay, what's up? What are you up to right now? Honestly, I did like work on actually adding some kind of automation to my hood. I opened Blender by mistake. I added some kind of automation to my object or to my Lisa here. If I would see, Lisa is gonna kind of chase me around, but for now it just looks like we're just going at the same exact speed. Later on, I'm gonna kind of change this stuff. For now, Lisa just looks like a pet type stuff. Although the movement changes depending on my distance. So if I get close enough, what up? So let's go over there. There we go. If I get close enough to Lisa, the Lisa state changes from chasing to attack. If I go further away, it changes to chasing. And let's go to the edge real quick. Okay, there we go. Lisa is chasing, blah, blah, blah. There we go. Now, if I get further away from Lisa, it says that my state is currently set to idle because I'm further away from Lisa. If I get close enough, then Lisa is going to chase me. And also, the reason Lisa stopped chasing me is because Lisa can only chase me till these bounds. Once I get away from these boundary, my NPC automatically stops chasing me. That's that. I want to add a sprint logic now. For the sprint logic, I'm going to go ahead and add a max stamina, which is going to be categorized inside of a stats category. I'm going to go with something like a floating point variable of max stamina, STAMINA, ending with a semicolon. I won't be setting a value for it because I'm just declaring it here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add another comment called something like current stamina. Okay, which again is going to be requiring U property. I'm going to go with something like U property, PROPERTY. Okay, where I want to be able to edit my current stamina anywhere. I want it to be blueprint read only. Only want my blueprint to be able to read it. Lastly, my category is CATEGORY is going to be equal to something like stats. There. Okay, did I spell it correct? STATS. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to create a floating point variable called something like current stamina, ending with a semicolon. Okay, now this is right about it, to be honest. Then I'm going to hit Control S to save the code. Then let's move on to my C++ file. Now, in my C++ files is, let's say, the constructor. After I'm done constructing my camera boom and follow camera, I'm going to go ahead and add a comment that says something like construct, CONSTRUCT. Okay, I'm gonna go with something like construct max HP and okay, let's go with something like max HP and current HP. Okay, so for constructing my max HP and constructing my current HP, last time I was here, you made a 2D jumping game. Honestly, were you here back when I was working with like SDL3? Learn assembly. Honestly, guys, I was really excited to like learn assembly because it was like apparently supposed to be a very hard language. But later on, I realized even though we can make games and projects in assembly, assembly isn't like actually made for those things. It's made for making like operating system, for example, Windows, Linux, and all that stuff. So I thought that I'm gonna kind of skip on assembly for the time being, unless I have a series where I'm going to be working on making an operating system. If that made any sense, guys. That's next up. I'm gonna go with something like construct, CONSTRUCT max HP there. I'm gonna set my max HP variable to be equal to something like. Did I go with max HP? Uh, oh, it's max stamina. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's what I was thinking. It's like I did not work on HP. STAMINA and current stamina. There, so I'm gonna go with something like a max stamina is gonna be equal to. I might go with something like 1,000 because I want to give my player a lot of stamina. Okay, which grade you in? Honestly, I am like a freshman in college. What is your opinion on the announcement of Monica Studios? Everyone goes crazy. I actually have not have time to like check those things up. That said, you have errors. Guys, ignore these red underlines. They're not like really errors. It's just like a compiler kind of bugging. Okay, that said, once I'm done with this, I'm gonna go with something like current HP to... Actually, current stamina is gonna be equal to max stamina. Okay, and that's pretty much it for my constructing, like my max stamina and current stamina. And guys, in case you guys are being kind of bothered with like the errors, let me fix that real quick. I can go to something like build and kind of build my solution. After it's done building, the errors should disappear because this is just like Visual Studio kind of messing with me type stuff. Wait, it says 3 builds, 1 failed. Positive there is no fails because if I were to go to my Unreal Engine and hit something like Control Alt F11, this is gonna compile my code up. Okay, and they both are kind of linked together, if that makes any sense. And since this is the first time that I'm compiling, it takes a bit long. Okay, God War Trilogy Remake. I haven't had time to watch those movies to be. Is it like a movie or a series? It sounds like a movie to be honest. It sounds like a trilogy, supposed to be a movie. The only movie that I did watch was like my Demon Slayer's 3-movie trilogy, or not 3-movie, the first trilogy of the Infinity Castle. There we go, it says result succeeded. It's basically just my Unreal Engine messing up. These red underlines will just disappear over time. Okay, let's just run the code real quick. Okay, the reason I get a red underline here is definitely because my live coding is enabled. Okay, but it... that's weird. Honestly, the reason it is weird is because it says live coding mode is currently active. This may cause build failures. If you experience build failures, try closing Unreal Editor or disable live coding. Okay, how are you doing? Raj, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Now, once I got my max stamina, let's see the next thing that I'm gonna do. Okay, so in my header files, I have my stamina. I did that stuff. Now I gotta work on my sprint logic and my Q pressed and Q release. So first, let's go with the Q pressed and Q release logic. Let's say under my C functions, under my C pressed C functions, I'm gonna add a comment that says something like Q functions. Okay, then I'm gonna go with something like a white function called from my A times this function, I'm gonna get a hold of my Q function, Q underscore function, actually Q underscore pressed function, where I won't be requiring any parameters, but if my Q is being pressed, I'm gonna go with something like my boolean is Q pressed variable. I'm gonna set it to be true, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm gonna go ahead and define another function that I've declared in my header files called the Q underscore released function. This function is gonna initiate when my B is Q pressed. When my Q is being pressed. I'm gonna set this to be false, ending with a semicolon. Okay, you don't know about God of War. God of War completely changed the gaming industry. Actually, I think like it's just been like 6 months since I've like got into like programming or like programming or learning coding in general type stuff. Although I used to play games, but not like watch content on how the games are made. If that makes any sense, guys. I cannot phrase right now. Okay, that's it. Let's see the next thing. Okay, this is pretty much it. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna kind of scroll all the way down. Let's say until I find my summon function. I need to add comments, guys. Comments is very important to add. I sometimes forget adding it. I'd say comments is like one of the most important things. Go with something like summon function. There. Okay, now let's go all the way down here. In the section, I'm gonna add a comment that says something like, let's see. a sprint function. So I'm gonna go ahead and type something like sprint function. Okay, now for my sprint function, I'm gonna go with something like a void function called atom. From my atom, I'm gonna go ahead and get a hold of my sprint function, which does not require any parameters. I've defined this function in my header files. I've declared this function in my header file. I'm gonna define it in my C++ file. Okay, was it really called sprint? There we go, it is called sprint. And guys, slowly these red lines are also gonna disappear. Okay, let's see. Oh wait, I went to Lisa. There we go. Okay, now what is something that I might need for my sprint function? Firstly, I might wanna increase my player's speed. Okay, so I wanna go ahead and increase my speed while decreasing my stamina. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like if of parentheses, let's say something like if my boolean of is Q pressed is set to true. If my Q is being pressed, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. What is it that I want to do? Let's think. Let's see. I want to go ahead and increase my player's speed. I worked on the sprint function before, although I forgot. Okay, let me think really hard. Hold up, guys. So, I want to decrease this thing, but I want to increase my speed. Well, maybe since I can't remember this thing, I'm going to go ahead and, let's say, open another project called something like my project 5. I'm positive it was project 5, right? This might be one of my old reference projects of Unreal Engine. I hope that I have my sprint logic in it. If not, then I have to kind of figure this part out. Okay, so let's go to my Pixels C++ file. Do I have actually header files? Do I have a sprint function? I have move function, LMB function. There is no sprint function. Okay. What are your PC specs? Honestly, I do have my PC does have 24 GB RAM, Intel Core i9. I forgot the rest, to be honest. MSI is this motherboard. It does not have a GPU because the GPU that I am using is integrated inside of my motherboard. And yeah, I think that's everything that we say for specs, guys. I'm kind of bad with whatchamacallit, saying these specs, or not these specs, general hardware stuff or all that stuff, if that makes any sense. Guys, I cannot trace right now. Okay, let's go ahead and exit this real quick. Okay, so what is the next thing that I want to do? Boolean is Q pressed. How do I increase my speed? Maybe I'm going to go with something like Control C, copy that. Let's get Glot up here. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it. Go with Shift Enter and say something like insane. So I added the nav mesh and my NPC does move exclamation. That said, I was trying to add a sprint logic for my Tom, but I forgot the content that goes inside my sprint function. Can you help me call it question mark? I have worked on the sprint function, but it was I think 3 weeks ago or something. I haven't touched it ever since that. So might need some brushing for it. Okay, excellent. Lisa is moving now. That's what I like to see. Problem identified, problem solved. Now let's tackle your sprint function. Look at your code. I can see you've said max stamina, current stamina, boolean, but wait. See a problem? You haven't bound the Q action. Okay, well, I mean, I'm still working on the code. Okay, in your tom.h file, go with this, okay, and then bind action. I was going to eventually do that, but I was working on the sprint function. There we go. Okay, the get character movement was something that I did not remember. So I check if my Q is being pressed and current stamina is greater than 0. Sprint increase movement character movement max walk speed equals to 1200.f. So I move 1200 units faster than my regular speed. Sprint speed drain current stamina minus equals to 10 trains per call. Else character movement max walk speed is going to be equal to 600 normal speed. Regenerate stamina if current stamina is less than max stamina. Current stamina increases by 5. Regenerates lower than drain. Step 3, call the sprint function. Oh, in the tick. Wait, hold up. I think that it's not really that smart to call my sprint function on my tick, but I'll try the logic first. So get character movement was the thing that I was missing. So if my B is currently being pressed, and I'm gonna go with something like if my B is being pressed, and hold up, guys, let me kind of mute myself real quick. I think there's background noise. Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, guys, I thought there was background noise. I think I was just hearing myself. Okay, so if my Q is currently being pressed and my max stamina, let's go with something like max stamina, is greater than 0.f. Okay, is it really called? Hold up, guys, let me kind of mute myself again. I think there's... Already mic testing, mic testing. Alright, guys, I think there were background noises. Okay, that's it. Let's see. So, if my Q is currently being pressed and my max stamina is greater than 0, then I'm going to go ahead and do something. I'm going to go ahead and get Tom's max walk speed. Let's go with something like walk speed. And multiply, let's go with something like, and multiply it by 1,200 units. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like get character movement. Let's go with something like get character movement. This function. Wait, was it the correct function? Hold up, guys. Let me use simple lessons real quick. Let's go with something like get character. Okay, was it not called get character movement? Okay, let me check the reference real quick. It was get character movement, which points towards the max walk speed. CHARACTER, get character movement. Okay, which points towards max walk speed. Let's go with something like max walk speed. There we go. Okay, which is gonna be equal to 1,200 point F. And guys, the reason I look down is because I do have some stream delay on my phone, so in case I forget syntaxes, I can like check it out like 3 extra seconds for that. But these red squibbly lines are actually kind of annoying. I might wanna fix this part real quick. I mean, I could fix it as soon as I'm done with my sprint function here. So this is going to be a max walk speed ending with a semicolon. And then let's see, is there an else clause that I gotta go with? Pretty sure there should be one. I need a stamina drain and then a else clause where my speed is the normal speed. Let's add a comment that says something like stamina drain logic. For my stamina drain, I'm gonna go with something like max stamina is gonna go ahead and decrease by gonna go with something like minus equals to, I don't know, what should I go with? Let's think. My max stamina could decrease by maybe 10. There we go. I think it's a pretty reasonable amount. Ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and add an else clause. I'm gonna go with something like else, a pair of curly braces. There. For my else clause, I'm gonna go ahead and set my get character movement. I'm gonna go with something like get character movement, MOVEMENT. Okay, which is going to be pointing towards max walk speed again. This is my characters' max walk speed, which is going to be equal to 600 point F, ending with a semicolon. Regular speed. Now, here's the thing. Do I want to go ahead and add on screen a debug message? Maybe I could do that later on. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a if statement here. Let's go with something like if statement. And say something. I'm gonna go with something like if max walk speed, WALK, if actually max walk speed, if my max or current stamina, if my current stamina, STAMINA, if my current stamina is less than, actually, I might go with something like if my max stamina is greater than, or if my current stamina is less than my max stamina. Oh yeah, okay. Alright guys, if my current stamina Okay, current stamina is less than my max stamina. Then I want to go ahead and do something. I'm going to go ahead and add a pair of curly braces. And inside of my pair of curly braces, I'm going to go ahead and increase my current stamina. I'm going to go with something like current stamina. Wait, this should be current stamina or max stamina. Let's copy that just to save some time. Paste it here, paste it here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and increase it by 5, ending with a semicolon. Let's add a comment that says something like stamina regeneration logic. There we go. Okay, bro, stop speaking like a gay. Guys, speaking like a gay is actually kind of crazy. I'm pretty straight. Okay, that said, once I'm done with this, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit Control S to save the code. Wait, I think I saved the wrong thing. There. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab my Unreal Engine up here. In my Unreal Engine, I'm gonna go ahead and hit Control Alt F11 to compile my code. Okay, now let's wait for the code to compile. Okay, it says build failed. It says the U character movement. What line? In my character movement replication 18.7. Max walk speed. Okay, I think I had a typo in my max walk speed. Alright guys, let's go and get Gemini up here. A max walk speed equals to 1200. Else max walk speed equals to that if current stamina, blah blah blah. Get character movement max stamina. Why do I get an error here? Do I have like a typo? Okay, let's get Gemini up here real quick. Actually, Claude, paste it here, go and say something like sensei. Okay, so I get a error here, and also I see so many red underlines, but my program works. I think I should restart Visual Studio or generate my Visual Studio project files again. There we go, let's see. Okay, so pinpoint location. Hold on, I see two problems. Problem 1, real bug in your code. Line 115, you wrote B is Q pressed and max stamina. That's wrong. Check current stamina. Okay, so that's a logic error. The second thing, you never call the sprint function. Your sprint function exists. I mean, those weren't even the errors that I had. Problem 4, add this at the top of your C++. This makes more sense. So from my game framework, I want to get my character movement components as header files. And that might be the reason why I got an error. Okay, let's go with something like include from my game framework. I'm going to go with something like game framework. I want to go ahead and include my, what's it, get character? Character movement components in the header files. Character movement components .h. Okay, now let's hit Control S to save the code. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll down, fix one of my logic errors that I had here. Instead of being max stamina, this is gonna be my current stamina. And lastly, I'm gonna go ahead and do some binding. I'm gonna go with enhance input component, which points towards a bind action, where my action name is gonna be sprint action. SPRINT and then I'm going to require a trigger event, which is going to be started if a sprint action has been started on this object. I want to do what the memory address of this function, which is going to be Q_pressed, tells me to do, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to add another enhance input component, which is going to be pointing towards the bind actions function that has a parameter of my sprint action and a trigger event, which this time my trigger event is going to be completed when my sprint action has been completed on this object. I want to do what my atoms is Q_released function tells me to do. RELEASED. That was a mouthful. Now let's hit Control S to save the code. If I open my Unreal Engine, hit Control Alt F11, and kind of just compile my code. Let's wait for it to compile. Result succeeded. Perfect. Successfully patched. Now let's go ahead and kind of click my Tom's character here and type input. If I were to go with something like input, I should be seeing a sprint action here, so I'm going to do something about it. Firstly, I'm going to go to my content drawer. I'm going to double click my input. Right click, add a action input. Let's go with something like action input. My action input is going to be called something like IA underscore sprint. That's going to be my sprint action. Now I'm gonna go ahead and kind of assign my sprint action to my DOM up here. My sprint action is gonna be IA underscore sprint. And then I'm gonna go to my IMC default. In my IMC default, I'm gonna click the plus icon for adding a mapping. This mapping is gonna be for my IA underscore sprint. And I'm gonna set this to be something like Q. When I press Q, I want this sprint action to be initiated. Okay, I guess let's just hit Control Alt F11 to compile my code and then run it. Okay, let's test it out. Excuse me, guys. Guys, I was kind of looking forward to doing the 100 push-up workouts up here. Sounds kind of fun. Let's hit something like C. If I were to hit something like Q, it's just me, or don't I go faster? Well, I'm going faster, right? No? Why not? Oh, when I trigger it, this should be triggered. So while my sprint action is being triggered, I want to do this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get my Unreal Engine back up here. I'm gonna go with something like live compile. It's gonna compile my code. Okay, so while my sprint action is being triggered, I want to do that. Wait, did I not go with what up, guys? Just gonna go ahead and copy that, go with a bunch of Control Z's, go here, and this with a semicolon, go here, go down, paste that, change this thing to be something like sprint. There. Okay, now I think this is good, right? Let's hit Control S to save the code, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get Unreal Engine here, actually go with something like live compile. Okay, now it should work if I compile the code. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and run the code real quick. Let's test my sprint first. Yep, I definitely go faster. Now wait, I go slower. What up? It's kind of hard to tell. Okay. Do I go faster? Lisa is chasing you. Do I? Guys, I gotta make sure to see if I'm doing this correctly. Whoa, 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 whoa. 200. When I click it. How do you check if I'm going? Wait, hold up, guys. I just realized something. My bad, I was kind of stupid. To check if my sprint action even works, I could just go ahead and add a G engine. G engine. Let's go with a add-on screen. Debug message. Where I want to go with something like a -1. I want it to display for 1 second, 1.0. And then I want the color, F color, to be something like blue. And I want the text to be, let's go with something like text, to be something like sprinting. Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and copy my G engine, kind of paste it here. Okay, let's go with something like not sprinting. Now let's hit Control S to save the code, go to my Unreal Engine, hit something like Control Alt F11 to compile the code. And let's just kind of wait for this to compile. I get a small error here. Maybe a common mistake, a typo. G engine. It's so hard to see this in the first place because it's like Okay, F colors the structure. It's gonna be a blue color, sprint, text tab, blah blah. Okay, G engine, add-on screen. I went with add-on scream and not screen. There we go, it was a typo. Now let's hit Control S to save the code. Lowercase n, lowercase n, n, and Control S to save the code. Open Unreal Engine, go with Control Alt F11 to compile the code. Okay, now let's just wait for this to compile. Build failed again. Syntax error. Missing semicolon before curly braces. Missing a semicolon before curly braces. Oh, there we go. Gotta end this with a semicolon and that with a semicolon. Okay, now let's go ahead and compile. Okay, let's see. There we go, result succeeded. I'm gonna go ahead and run the code now. If I hit Q, sprinting. Let's go with C. Sprinting. And then it's like not sprinting. So I'm not sprinting anymore. Okay, now it's all just me not sprinting. So I gotta change this, like, I gotta call my sprint function in my cake. Okay, let's go with something like sprint. There, then end this with a semicolon. There should be an easier way rather than to have it on tick. I'm gonna go with current stamina. Let's go with something like current stamina just one time. I'm gonna delete this from here. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this, delete this from there, and just kind of paste it right here. Add on screen debug message. I want to actually initiate this when I'm sprinting, if I'm sprinting or not, whether or not I'm sprinting. There. G engine, can it be displayed somewhere outside? I think it can. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like a print F. Let's go with something like a print a F string. So I'm gonna go with something like F string, which is a scope resolution operator to get a hold of my print F, where I'm gonna be adding a broke parentheses, then going with a text. My text is gonna be in a new line. I'm gonna go ahead and say this text to be something like stamina. Okay, my stamina is gonna be something like colon %. Okay, then I'm gonna go with something like current stamina. I think my syntax is a little wrong here. Okay, then let's hit Control S to save the code. I'm gonna go to Unreal Engine and something like Control Alt F11 to compile the code. Okay, and let's see, there we go. I knew that my syntax is kind of wrong. Add on screen debug message, print F. The thing that makes it really, really hard here is that I see a lot of red squiggly lines. Print F. Let's hit Control S to save the code. Now I'm gonna go with Control Alt F11, compile my code real quick. Okay, so it says print F is wrong. Let's go with Control A, Control C, get Claude here, paste it here, go with Shift Enter and say something like this. Hey, I don't think that I wrote the syntax correct for my G engine. Add on screen debug message dot dot dot. And also, is there another way to display my sprint? Actually, is there another way also? Let's go with something like also, is there another way that we can execute our sprint function? Because I've heard that having a lot of content in the tick can be very heavy on the CPU. Okay, did I go with CUP? Okay, let's see. Diagnosing syntax errors and optimizing CPU performance. I see still T. I mean, I guess Claude understood I was talking about CPU. Okay, whoa. I see multiple problems here. Problem 1, your debug message is floating in space. So look at line 156. Okay, it is sitting outside any function. It's not floating between sprint and tick. That won't compile. Also, your syntax is wrong. Print f should be print f capital P. Okay. And then colon is wrong. Use %.2f for floats. I don't want it to be floats. I mean, I guess it is. Okay, it's 1.0, not 1. Oh, it's 1.0, it's not 1.0. Okay, move it inside the sprint function. So in the sprint function, do all that stuff. There we go. Okay, all I need is to get this part. Okay, add the debug message here. Copy that. Problem to you're calling sprint function twice. Nice. Okay, so about your CPU performance. Okay, you're calling the CPU. Okay, EIC bind sprint action. Remove this line. Where am I going to go with the sprint function then? About your CPU performance, you're right. Think about this before, but here's the truth. For this case, calling sprint in take is fine because it's just checking a boolean. B is press. Okay. Setting up float values. This happens in microseconds. Take becomes heavy menu to complex raycasting every frame, spawning actors every frame, heavy climate calculations, pathfinding, physics, and simulations. Your sprint logic is lightweight. Don't worry about it for now. I see. Okay, apparently let's remove this from here. Let's go ahead and remove this from here. Try to add my sprint function here. There we go. Now let's hit Control S to save the code. I'm going to go to my Unreal Engine real quick, hit something like Control Alt F11 to live compile. While it's compiling, let's get this. There we go. So it says something like results exceeded. I'm going to go ahead and run the code. Stamina is 100. I'm going to hit C. If I hit Q, my stamina decreases, but my NPC gets idle. Is it going to go up to 1,000? It does. Let's try getting my stamina up till 0. Alright, I guess it's up till 0. Gotta kind of just dodge the enemy. And then get a bit away, so Pizza is idle. Okay, I mean, I guess I got like way more progress than I really thought I would. I mean, I won't say this was hard. I do understand what it means. All I gotta do is like work and practice on the syntaxes. Okay, that's it. Now that I've got this, I want to kind of work on this part and like kind of learn the code up. So I guess the best way to learn it is to write a code. Okay, so I guess that I'm gonna go ahead and let's say maybe get my Visual Studio 2022. I might really want to add another. I don't want to actually have another project for this, to be honest. Okay, I mean, I do want some practice on this. This is the perfect for reference coding. Alright, I mean, I guess I could go ahead and open on another Unreal Engine because usually I think that I gotta write this code like one more time to kind of get a basic gist of it, and then I am going to be moving on to the UIs as well. And guys, if I sound kind of dead, it's because I have like a lot of college stuff to do. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like a new project. Let's go with something like a blank project called, set this to be C++. Now, what do I want my project name to be? Let's go with enemy ENEY AI logic. Let's go with something like enemy AI logic. Okay, I mean, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and set the I to be lowercase. Okay, then I can go ahead and create a project. There we go. Okay, and I'm not really gonna work on my adding character movement because I think I already got that part. I want to mostly work on my sprint logic, if that makes any sense. Okay, so almost everything's gonna be same. Okay, let's wait for this to compile real quick. Hey guys, ignore if I'm yawning, I'm kind of sleepy. Okay, I just realized that it takes really long while the Unreal is compiling. In the meanwhile, I might really go to, let's say, maybe my Discord server because there is nothing else to do. Whoops. And guys, if you guys don't know, in the Discord server, there are like a bunch of bots that's like pretty fun to play with. Guys, see, we're okay. I guess it's done exactly when I started to work on this. I'm gonna go with save selected. Okay, I guess I can close my Discord. Oh, I can't. Never mind. Okay, I cannot. There. Okay, well, I guess my project loaded. Okay, because I wanted to like play some of the Discord bots up there. And I do really want to have like gaming stream or like a workout stream this Tuesday, but I feel like the most logical stuff would be to work on Blender. Because I do need to work on adding animated meshes, if that makes any sense. Why do I have two? Oh, this is just project settings. There we go. Okay, now let's just go ahead and open my OBS and kind of just get this in the perfect position. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab this from back here, kind of extend it a bit in front. There, that's good. And then extend it from the top. Okay, perfect. So now once I'm here, I'm gonna go to titled. Let's create a new project. I'm gonna go with something like file, new level. This is gonna be a basic level. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make sure to kind of save my level. I'm gonna go with something like save all. There we go. Okay, wait, inside of my level, what is something that I want to do? Firstly, I'm going to go to my content browser. In my content browser, let's say I want to drag in 3 files. These are basically the Blender meshes and animated meshes that I've created. Okay, I'm going to get my chat back up here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and import, yes, apply to all, and click something like yes. There we go. So these are basically all the meshes that I had, the QLB files. Now, once I'm done with this, I'm going to go to content, I'm going to right click, add a folder, and name this folder something like input. And guys, I will not be writing the entire inputs as source code again. I will be copying those source code. The only thing that I do want to write is like my sprinting logic, summoning logic, and the chasing logic. Once I get a pretty good grasp of that, I think I can go on and move on to like some other advanced AI logic type stuff. So I'm going to create a few input actions here. I'm gonna right click, let's go with something like action input, let's go with something like action input. Let's call this something like IA underscore move. And then I'm gonna right click, add another action input. I think I spelled it wrong. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and call this something like IA underscore look, because this is my look action. And then I'm gonna go with another action input. This is going to be called something like IA underscore RMB, right mouse button action, because I will be using that logic as well. I'm going to go with another action input called something like IA underscore sprint, because I will be needing a sprint action. And why am I kind of working on this or speed running this part? Well, because I already worked on the basic coding and all that stuff. I just want to work on my logic while I still know how to do that stuff so I can get some muscle memory and practice on it. Okay, so I have IA underscore look, IA underscore move, IA underscore RMB, and IA underscore sprint. I'm positive that's all I need, right? Yeah, pretty sure that's all I need. So I can finally go ahead and add my mapping context. This is going to be my input mapping context called something like IMC underscore default. Now I'm going to double click my IMC underscore default, get the tab a bit here. Oops, there we go. And in my IMC underscore defaults, I'm going to click plus for my mappings. Let's go ahead and add a mapping. This mapping is going to be for my IA underscore move, where I'm going to be requiring, let's say, 4 buttons or 4 different key controls. W, S, A, and D. When I click W, I want to move forward in the y-axis, so I'm going to add a modifier of Swiss input axis value, which basically gives me access to the y-axis. For my S, I want to move in the y-axis, but in the negative y-axis direction, which is opposite from my Swiss input axis value. This is positive. Gonna add another modifier called something like negates, negative Swiss input axis value. And then for my A, I'm just going to be requiring, let's say, a modifier for negate. Because if we don't really add Swiss input axis value, by default, we move in the x-axis. Bro, good job avoiding the haters. You're doing great right now. I just appreciate your comment. That actually means the world to me, guys. Okay, that's it. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to go with something like content. And let's double click my IA underscore move. I'm going to change this to something like 2D vector. And then let's double click my IA underscore look as well. Going to change that to a 3-dimensional vector. There we go. Okay, this is a pretty basic thing up here. Now let's create classes. So I'm going to go here and go to something like tools. In my tools, I'm going to go to C++ classes. Firstly, I'm going to create a Tom's class. Let's go with something like Tom, which is my character. Let's create a class. Now it's adding my code to project. While it's adding, I guess I can just sit back and chill. Okay, and guys, I will be like copy and pasting my sprint action from my other project because I'm only going to be working, not sprint action, I meant move action from my other project because the only only block of code that I'm going to be working right now is going to be the sprint action, summon action, and my chase action. Those are the three key things that I want to work. And later, once I'm good with those, either I could go ahead and work with UIs because the game does need to have decorations and all that stuff and aesthetics type stuff. Okay, I think aesthetics would make it much better. It's either aesthetics or logic. I mean, I guess I'll work on both. Guess we'll eventually get there. Firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and reload all. Now let's exit that. Let's get my Unreal Engine here. Okay, so now for my Thompson's header files, let's be very careful as to what I'm going to be adding here. I gotta add everything from up here. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that. I mean, honestly, let's go with everything. Let's go with Control-A, Control-C. My project name is different here, so I gotta change dodge the enemy underscore API to whatever my current project name is, which is enemy AI logic. So I'm gonna go with Control-A, Control-V. Let's scroll all the way up here. This is gonna be something like enemy. So let's go with ENEMY. Enemy AI logic. There. Okay, so enemy AI logic underscore API. I'm going to remove my Lisa as a header file because I will not be using that for the time being. Magically, all my red underlines kind of disappeared from here. I wonder how. Okay, guys, when I said I wonder how, I was just kidding. I know how. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove. I'll leave my summon this thing. I'll remove those. I'm just removing the things that I'm going to be adding myself later on. Removing QNC, and then Lisa summoning, gonna remove that. Lisa summon action, gonna remove that. Gonna remove these. Gonna remove my sprint action. RMB stays, look stays, move stays, default mapping stays, follow camera stays, camera boom stays. Okay, well that's about it. I'm going to hit Control S to save the code. And then I'm going to go back to my project here. I'm going to go to C++ file. And this is going to be the confusing part. Let's go with Control-A, Control-C. Going to shrink that. Going to go to my... Wait, did I just paste that in my header files? Please say I didn't. Oh, you're joking, I did. Well, I mean, it's fine. I'm going to go all the way down here. Paste all of that here. That was line 77. It's line 77. Let's go ahead and kind of just copy this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and copy all that, delete that from here, scroll all the way down. Let's go ahead and go to my Thompson's header files, go with Control-A, Control-V. And there, that kind of fixes it all. So these are my header files for Tom, these are my C++ files. In my C++ files, I'm gonna go ahead and remove my game frameworks character movement component. I'll leave input action, I'll leave enhance input, I'll leave that. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and remove this logic from here because I will be adding it later on again. And then I'm gonna move that. Let's remove my summon action, sprint action. Move action stays, look action stays, summon function does not stay. Sprint function does not stay. Okay, so it's %.2f. Okay, and then call every frame, this does not stay. Extra lines does not stay. And then this is going to be my sprint action does not stay, Lisa summon action does not stay, RMB action stays, and move and look action stays. There we go. So this is a basic template. Hello brother, what's up? Hiding Spar, appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Now let's hit Control S to save the code. Guys, that was a handful to actually erase. I think I need a mini rest. Okay, let me actually go ahead and get a sip real quick because I think I'm kind of thirsty. Just kind of get that up, get that down. There we go. Okay, give me a second, guys. Let me kind of open this. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and open my Unreal Engine again. In my Unreal Engine, I'm gonna go to something like tools. I'm gonna go to classes. I'm gonna add another class. This is gonna be called Lisa. Then let's go ahead and create this class. Now in my Lisa's class, I'm adding into project. While it's adding to project, I guess I'm chilling again. Guys, I guess the whole stream is just going pretty chill. Maybe not, it's kind of done. I'm gonna go ahead and reload it all. Now I have my Lisa's C++ file and my Lisa's header files. So what is something that I might need in my header files in order for me to summon Lisa? Maybe nothing, to be honest. Everything that I'm going to be doing is going to be inside of my Townsend header files. The only thing that might be inside my Lisa's header files could be my sprint functions. Am I going to do that? Okay, hiding the guy. I appreciate you joining the stream. Bro, I really want to learn this, but because of college pressure, I'm not doing it. Honestly, I'd say like I have like 4 classes like for my college as well, and like for my programming semester, I am like learning Python for my college and like C++ for my stream. So I think I'm going with it simultaneously. The thing that I would say that made it a bit possible to like do this is I'd say like time management. I would like actually recommend you to work on a specific class for like a specific amount of time. Let's say 40 minutes, take 20 minutes rest, move on to the next subject type stuff. That's what I actually do. So it gives your brain enough time to soak the information and like work on the new information, and make sure you get plenty of rest as well. Okay, that said, let's see. Let's go all the way up here. Okay, so what was the next thing that I needed? If I were to go ahead and open my Visual Studio up here, let's go there. There we go. So for my Lisa's header files, the 2 things that I needed was firstly a current state. Oh yeah, that's right. I needed an enum. Okay, so I needed a enum class, which is going to be blueprint type. Okay, so I have 3 different states, and then I have my current state, and then a distance to player and a update Lisa logic. In my C++, in my header files, I went ahead and initialized my current state to be idle and my distance to be 0. Give Lisa an AI brain. I go with auto possess AI to be able to really use this auto possess AI for my .build.cs file. I need to go ahead and add my AI module. And for my distance to player to actually work, I need to go ahead and add my navigation module as well. How much do you sleep? Honestly, I think like I do get like 8 hours every single day. Depends. The days that I have college, like on the weekdays, I don't think I get 8 hours because I do like wake up and I think about like 7:30ish to get ready for class and all that stuff. It really depends on how much assignments I have. Some days I sleep like very late, some days I sleep very early type stuff. Although, let's see, next up, I'm gonna go ahead and move here. Now, inside my Lisa's header files, what is something that I want to do? Let's see. Okay, so firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say construct a few things. Above my class, above my U class, I'm gonna add a comment that says something like create a enum class. Let's go with something like a enum class for Lisa's state change. There, CHANG. Now, for my Lisa's state change, firstly, the thing that I'm gonna go ahead and do is create a UEnum. The reason I go ahead and create a UEnum is for my Unreal Engine to really know that a enum type does really exist, which is going to be a blueprint type. There, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create a UEnum class. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and create was it a white enum class? Guys, I feel like my memory got kind of awful up here. Let's go up here. There we go. So let's go with Lisa's header files. Okay, enum class, not a white enum class. I mean, enum is probably a data type, so I'm gonna go with something like enum class. It's going to be called something like Lisa state, or I'll go with something like state state type. Okay, but they call that I'm going to go with something like uint8, which is basically going to be, I think, a 8 or a 16 bits is memory, which is not that much to be honest, but I'm not really storing all that much inside the state. So I'm gonna go with something like a pair of curly braces, uint8. That's one word. There. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add a few states. Firstly, I'm gonna go with something like an idle state. For my idle state, I'm gonna go ahead and add a umeta. Is this how we add the syntax? Guys, I think I'm kind of awful at memorizing these syntaxes. The thing is, back when I didn't have college, I actually had time to kind of learn these syntaxes. Now I just like completely just brought out this part like on screen, if that makes any sense. Lisa states uint8 attack umeta display name. I see, so the colon is kind of wrong here. So idle umeta function, which is going to be requiring a display name. What do I want my idle state to be known as in Unreal Engine? Let's go with something like display name is going to be equal to, there we go. It's going to be equal to something like idle. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a comma here. Go with something like my second state, which is going to be chase. Chase is going to be having a umeta as well, where my chase's display name is going to be equal to something like chase, and then I'm going to add a comma. Whoops. And lastly, I'm going to be having a attack type where I'm going to be requiring a umeta again, in which my display name, let's go with something like display name, is going to be equal to something like attack. There we go. Okay, perfect. Now, once I'm done with this, what is the next thing that I want to do? Let's think. Maybe I want to go ahead and set a current state for my Lisa. So I'm going to go all the way down here until my begin play. I'm going to go with something like my E state. So I should go ahead and firstly add a U property. Let's go to U property, where I want my U property to be edit anywhere. I want to be able to edit my property anywhere. I want it to be blueprint read only. Let's go to blueprint read only. And I don't really think that I might need a category here, will I? Okay, this is Lisa's current state. Visible anywhere, blueprint read only, category AI. This is the AI logic, okay. Visible anywhere, blueprint read only, category AI. This is distance to player. Those were the two things that I messed up on. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go with something like a comment. Let's say something like Lisa's state. That's gonna be visible anywhere. Okay, blueprint read only. Lastly, my Lisa's category is gonna be equal to something like AI. I think I spelled category wrong. There. And then I'm gonna go ahead and let's say go with my EU state type. I'm gonna go with something like state type. Okay, can you find me? Find you? What's that mean? Okay, are you following solid principles? Honestly, I actually did use like AI to like learn all this, so I don't think that I have any kind of professional tutoring help when it comes to how I write or like compose my code type stuff. Although, in my opinion, I think that it is like pretty understandable. Do let me know if this is like although do let me know if I'm not following the solid principles. Okay, do you know vibe coding? I mean, you guys could like say somewhat, but when it comes to vibe coding, I would like the way I actually use AI is to actually get the code and learn what the code means instead of just applying the code without understanding what it means. Because I think that my main goal by the end of this series is not to just make a game and just like call it a day. I want to really understand the code and what goes behind it, and then later on work on my own program type stuff. That makes any sense? Okay, so let's go with something like eState type, which is going to be represented by a pointer called something like current state. So there we go. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. And guys, this isn't like an actual program that I'm working on right now, because like the program that I'm eventually going to work on, I think like in about like I think like 98-ish more days, because that's when it's actually due type stuff, because I do need to be done with it by then. That's like the deadline. I am going to be making a pseudocode or a flowchart and kind of following that algorithm instead of just like raw dogging like how I'm doing it up here. So that might be kind of fun, to be honest. Are you familiar with solid principles? Actually, I might have to look into that. I might be familiar with them. Although I wouldn't like really know them because I didn't like read a whole textbook on like Unreal Engine and all that stuff. That said, I do know what the basic things does. For example, why we add new properties, why we add the include functions, what is a spring arm component, camera component, how do we like bind something, or how do we bind key controls or mouse clicks from our Visual Studio to our Unreal Engine using enhanced inputs and all that. Fact check me on that though. Okay, that's it. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and add another U property. Let's go with something like distance to player. Okay, and guys, I really don't think that I might be able to write this entire code today, like all three logic, the summon, spawn, and chase logic, because I do need to go in a bit because I do have like other stuff to do. Let's go with something like visible anywhere. Okay, and then I want my distance to players this variable that I'm going to be creating to be blueprint made only. Lastly, I want to categorize it in a category called something like AI. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a floating point variable called something like distance, D-I-S-T-N-C-E, to player, which is going to be equal to, I'm just going to declare it, I won't define it yet. Okay, are you wipe coding or something? Honestly, not really. I'm kind of writing this to like clear the logic up because I did like whatchamacallit, write this program once in like a different file and I got it to work, but I want to kind of see if I actually understood the program. The only thing that I am kind of struggling with right now is the syntaxes, but I think I almost got a pretty good grasp of the syntax as well. So try to follow solid principles. It makes your code professional. Honestly, I might actually look what the solid principles are, to be honest. Okay, that's it. Lastly, I'm gonna add a comment here. Let's say something like function. For my function, I'm gonna go ahead and create a void function called something like update state logic, ending with a semicolon. Actually, a pair of parentheses and then ending with a semicolon. There we go. Next up, let's hit Control S to save the code. Now let's go to my Lisa's C++ file. This is where I kind of define the things that I declared up there. For example, I have a current state, which I can go ahead and declare as well. Why do I have a typo here? Date, state logic, copy that, paste it here. Control S. There, let's go to my C++ file. Let's go ahead and declare a few things. I'm gonna add a comment that says something like initialize, I-N-I-T-I. There. Now to initialize, I'm gonna do something. Firstly, I want to initialize my eState. Is it called eState? Okay, eState type. Let's copy that. Actually, instead, I might just go with my current state. Okay, my current state is going to be equal to idle. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this with a semicolon. Maybe I might go with something like my eState type. This is current state. Should I go with something like that? No. eState, S-T-A-T-E, type, the scope resolution operator, idle. There we go. My current state is going to be equal to idle. Okay, is this topic talking in your school? Honestly, no. In my I am like working because technically in terms of college and all that stuff, I am a complete beginner because I am like a freshman, so I gotta learn from the very basics. So they're actually teaching me Python and all that stuff. Where I'm working on the basic fundamentals, C++ and like Unreal Engine is like a whole different thing that I just do it for my streaming and like content type stuff. Do you know Tokyo Spiff? Actually, I haven't heard of that. What does that mean? That's it. How are you doing? Call Zarp in the stream. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, so I see current distance. I mean, instead, could I just go with something like, okay, eState type is going to be idle, where my eState type is represented by current state. Let's copy the current state, hit Control S to save the code, go here, go there, paste this, set that equal to there. That makes so much more sense now. There we go. Okay, once I'm done with initializing, I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment that said something like distance to player. I mean, I don't really add a comment for that. I'm gonna go with something like DISTNCE to player, which is going to be equal to 0.f ending with a semicolon. when I summon my object, I want my Lisa to spawn right in front of my player. Kind of messed my spelling up here. There we go. That should fix this up. Control C, Control V, distance to PLAYER. Okay, he's a game developer, YouTuber. Go check out. He would be inspiring to you. Actually, I might check him out. Actually, inspirational to you. I might check him out in that case. Are you fluent in any other programming languages? I would say I'm pretty good in Python as well, because before I even started like my college and learning basics of Python, I already had a Python for 100 series, which was the first ever programming video that I uploaded in my channel as well. Actually, a programming video and like live stream that I had on my channel, where I spent like 100 days learning Python, and by the end of that series, my goal was to make a game, which I actually did make a pretty good game. Make sure to check it out. You guys could like check the programming for like 100 days series, week 14, or you guys could check my live on that, the day 100 of my program for like 100. For my program, my Python for 100 series, guys, I cannot talk right now. I'm kind of exhausted. And even for my short, I did upload that as well, where I made a pretty good game. What's your age? I'm actually 18. And guys, speaking of which, I think I'm gonna continue this part tomorrow, because I think I'm kind of exhausted. I don't want to like completely exhaust my brain up, because I do need to what you call it, study for a few exams, and also work on a few assignments type stuff. So I might really continue this part tomorrow. All I gotta do right now is I mean, I could potentially like do it this stream. It won't really hurt that much, because I just gotta add some kind of logic to my update state function, where I change my state depending on my distance to player. Do I want to do it? Alright guys, let's go with something like a wheel. Let me actually open Cloud up here. Let's get this here. Let's go with wheel of names. Okay, so I'm gonna go with two options. Do it next stream. Okay, because I kind of want to do it, but I don't really want to exhaust myself, because I have like a lot more to do. Okay, I mean, I guess it said do it. I guess we're doing it, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open the reference up here real quick. There we go. Now, for my Lisa as a C++ file, what are the two things that I might need? Firstly, give Lisa an AI brain. So, in order to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and open my project. I'm gonna go with Ctrl-Alt-L, get my Solution Explorer here. In my Solution Explorer, I'm gonna go under my enemy AI logic, under, let's say, my source. I'm gonna find my build.cs file. It should be under my enemy logic. Build.cs, there we go. Gonna double click that. And then inside my public dependency module names, I'm gonna go ahead and add a module called something like AI module. Okay, and then I will be needing my navigation systems as well. So I'm gonna go with NAVIGATION. Navigation systems is module. Then I hit Control S to save the code. Now I can go to my Lisa's header files and magically be able to include my AI controller .h, which is basically my AI controllers as header files. I really am kind of exhausted to kind of do this part. I really wanna. To be honest, I might really do it next stream. AICONTROLLER. Okay, the reason I see this red underline is because I gotta go ahead and exit my Visual Studio. I'm gonna Control S first. Okay, and then go ahead and open my File Explorer. Go to something like Documents, go to Unreal Engine. I'm gonna go ahead and double click my Unreal Engine projects, dodge the enemy. Gonna right click this, show more options. Whoops. Gonna right click this, go with show more options. I want to generate a Visual Studio project. By doing this, the new AI module and navigation systems module that I added inside my build.cs file is actually gonna generate in my program, so I can actually have access to it. Let's reload all. There we go. It's kind of hard to say. Is this the program that I was writing? Nope. It's just the other one. I'm gonna go ahead and right click, go with something like enemy AI logic. Now I should magically be able to load my header file up. Okay, let's go ahead and scroll all the way up here. Let's remove my Unreal Engine configurations. There we go, I can go ahead and include my AI controller here without having any kind of red underlines. Okay, maybe I want to actually do it next stream. I think that whatever my I think Wheel of Names said, it might be kind of wrong. Huh. Okay, so AI module. Let's go to my. Well, here I might have had a typo here. Gonna go with Control Alt L. Let's go ahead and open my build.cs file. It's called AI module navigation system NAVI. And then in my header file. Oh well, I guess my bad. Okay, I don't really need my AI modules as header files. I thought I needed this somewhere, to be honest. NAV. Oh, there we go. NAVIGATION. Navigation systems. Okay, perfect. Let's go to my Lisa's C++ file. Lisa's header files. Gonna go ahead and remove this. Okay, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest next stream because this stream I'm way too exhausted. Okay, that's let me go ahead and move on to my main camera. Alright guys, so basically that was pretty much it for the stream. I would have streamed longer, but then I don't want to completely exhaust myself because I got different stuff to do as well. That said, if you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, liking helps with my algorithm, sharing makes you smile, subscribing like it turns out. That said, I did start monetizing on Twitch, YouTube. I will start monetizing on TikTok and Instagram as well. So if you guys did enjoy my content and haven't followed me, then make sure to follow me. There, the link is going to be in the description. And also join the Discord server. That's why I usually talk to you guys, chat with you guys, have general conversations. Even give you guys my roadmap if you guys are like starting off with Python, C++, SDL3, or like Unreal Engine. That said, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace. And you guys can get access to my Discord through the link in the bio, description, or by typing exclamation Discord on chat. Let's end the stream.